We're about to cover the volley stroke now. You'll notice you have to, at some point, come up to play short balls in the game. Your opponent's not always going to be hitting the balls nice and deep where you want them. When you get up to the net here, you have to know how to handle a ball at the net. I've just hit a ball. My opponent has just hit a ball short. I came running up, and we'll discuss this approach shot a little later. But I am considered in volley country. Anytime I'm from the service line in toward the net, this is volley country. You could expect to hit a ball out of the air here. And we do not swing at balls, contrary to popular belief. These are not ground strokes. This is a totally different stroke called a volley. A volley is a ball that's really addressed in midair before it bounces. You could swing at some volleys, but your basic fundamental volley, you punch. Upon seeing the ball coming at me, hopefully I've gotten into the right angle here to pick off most of the balls that are either going to come down the line against me or cross court. I'm in a position to volley the ball here. What I'm going to attempt to do is see the ball quickly come off my opponent's racket so I can move quickly, very similar to a goalie in soccer or hockey. Now, when this ball comes in, I'm going to turn my shoulders, placing my racket out in front of me. Hopefully I found the ball early enough. Now I will not have to move my racket till it's time to volley the ball. Turn the shoulders, place the racket out in front. I am in the continental grip, which gives me a little bit of an edge. As the ball comes in, I time my step and racket with the ball. Hopefully I've caught the ball right at that point. And I'm going to punch the ball with a very short punching motion. I have taken no backswing. Peripherally, I've seen the back of my racket the entire time. A volley need only be several inches in length. It's the exact opposite of a ground stroke where you're trying to achieve distance and with your racket on the backswing so you can produce good racket head speed. Now I'm going to have Robert toss a few balls to me on the forehand side here at the net, and we'll demonstrate this volley. What I'm attempting to do is put a little cut on the ball so I don't end up popping it up, and I can dart the ball toward the baseline. And you'll see how this works. As soon as I notice where the ball's going, I'm going to move out and leave my hand there as though I was just going to catch the ball, like a first baseman leaving his glove, waiting for the throw, catch. I don't want to have any big production going on here. I want to keep everything very short and compact and simple. All right, we'll do a few forehand volleys first with Robert tossing them in. You see how I positioned my volley then to get out of the way of that ball and still got the punch on it. I've got to be ready to move. That's a little higher shot, so what I did was flatten the racket out and punch a little bit down and forward. That's a more typical volley right there. It was in the right spot. I now cut through the ball, making sure this edge comes in first, so the ball is going to travel anywhere from 50 to 75 feet. Notice I'm always moving out to get the ball. There's a good example of a volley right there. Forehand volley. Another cut. All right, two more, Robert. Cut. The lower the ball, the lower I have to get. There we go. One more. Ha! I tell my students, if you really want to address the ball and put a little emphasis on that, don't be afraid to let out a little bark there. That makes you more competitive. All right. Good. Excellent. Good. Those are good tosses, too. You saw three different volleys. The one right at you, the one over the head, right, where you have to flatten it out. You can't get an edge on that. Yeah. And, of course, the ones here where you actually go out and get. Nice. All right, backhand volley. Next volley coming up is the backhand volley. I think a lot of you that took up the game of tennis had a difficult time with this at first. But if you stayed with the game, I think you probably like your backhand volley more than your forehand, if you've really stayed with it and worked hard at it. Because on the backhand, the shoulder is already out in front of you. You've got a nice, strong karate position here with this hand. And a lot fewer things can go wrong, I think. I think most people would agree. You know, you can do a lot with the backhand volley. The mistakes I see are usually on the forehand volley, popping up the ball. We're just not quite as strong with this edge, with the hand here, versus this karate chop edge. All right, as I see the ball coming toward my backhand, I immediately, of course, you can notice the ready position here. I'm ready for the hardest drive of my life at the net. You really got to be alert up here. This is like the goalie. As soon as I see the ball is hit to my left, I immediately turn my shoulders. I'm going to get a great source of power getting this front shoulder turned around almost 90 degrees or more to the net. This gives me a good position now to go out and punch the ball. Notice the step. It's probably the biggest step you're ever going to take in tennis, the volley step. Stamp your foot. Really put the emphasis on that step, particularly on the volley. All right, you notice the left elbow come up. So I've got good leverage, good support, almost like a backboard here holding that racket up. Now I see the ball, keeping my head still. I can peripherally still see the racket here in front of me. So I know I haven't taken it back too far, and I punch the ball. Notice the racket kind of open up a little bit at the end, but it's a very short punching motion. All right, we're going to demonstrate this shot now. Robert's going to toss a few balls to me on the backhand side, and we'll see if we can put a little bit of a karate chop effect to these. And I think you'll find when you hit this shot, you want to be about an arm's length away from the ball. You'd like to be that arm's length because your arm is going to be in a stronger position out here than it would be, say, with the elbow bent in here. You're not going to get as much power. So you're really hitting this volley from the back of the shoulder there. All right, Robert, let's feed a few here. Notice how I moved to the ball there, took that big step, cut the ball off by moving forward. Look at that nice punch on the ball. Notice the weight has really volleyed the ball. There it is, right out toward the baseline. Notice I try to keep this wrist cocked. This would be devastating, having that wrist go limp like that. You're not going to make many volleys that way. Keeping your wrist cocked and racket head up. Next one. There it is. Nice chip right out to the baseline. I've got 40 feet to work with, so I'm not shy about this. I don't want to hit any balls into the net. So I'm making sure I get under the ball. Moving in. Notice the footwork there, huh? Took a lot of little steps, got myself sideways. There it is. Notice the racket kind of stop, almost like a hatchet in a tree. Always want to get myself sideways to the ball, get a lot more power. That's good. Always getting yourself sideways to the ball, that way you'll be able to put the most emphasis with your weight on the shot.